Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Everyone, welcome back to day 2 of our live stream, which was yesterday called Optimise Muslim, and today has changed to Habitual Muslim, the Habitual Muslim live stream. And to be honest, I'm not sure if we're going to constantly be changing it. The reason we changed it yesterday is because we had a brother who I'm sure is on the live stream today as well, a very lovely brother who has already got the name Optimise Muslim, and while he was so generous and kind and loving and supported the stream, I felt like I didn't want to kind of take his thing away from him, and so we're going with this. The concept is the same, however, so if you're new here, if you weren't here yesterday, we're discussing and hopefully building a community where all of us together can discuss how to be a more efficient Muslim, how to be a more optimized Muslim, when it comes to habits, skills that we can learn to improve ourselves, both in kind of the sense of being a Muslim, but also in the sense of day-to-day life. And that's what we really focus on here, is the day-to-day life concept. There's so many different avenues and so many different resources we can go to, and so many teachers that we can access to learn about our religion, but this is more so to learn how to optimize ourselves day to day. And inevitably, for all of us, our religion is what drives us. Our religion is the force through which we make all of our decisions anyway. And so in being that we are Muslim, how do we optimize our day-to-day life in general? And that's what we're kind of here to discuss. Again, if you're new here, just a reminder that we have a wheel which cannot be missed, and the way this stream works is we will spin the wheel and we'll discuss something from one of the topics. I'll either give some of my experiences in one of these fields, or answer a question from one of these fields once we spin the wheel, and likewise, hopefully you guys will be giving tips and advices too, and we can build this community together that can stick. So this is day 2, so we've made it to day 2, alhamdulillah. How is everybody doing? LK, I see you. We're back, alhamdulillah. And that's the only name I'm recognizing from yesterday. But inshallah we're going to see a lot more names from yesterday. If you were here yesterday, pop up on the chat. I'm watching, and inshallah we can see who are the regulars here. I decided that before we spin the wheel, and there's a few changes we're going to make to the wheel today, but before we spin the wheel, I think that every day it will be nice to start with a topic to do with our general stream topic of becoming more efficient or a better and more optimized person. And so today's topic I have chosen is on the topic of, where is it? Oh, all the way down at the bottom. Here we go. On the topic of relationships. One key thing I'll probably note today, though, before we start the stream, is that it's the last 10 nights of Ramadan, and so I assume that we're going to be keeping these streams short for the time being. Again, I did say that I want to keep the minimum 30 minutes, maximum 1 hour. So we'll try and keep it on the shorter end of 30 minutes today, and we'll see how things go. And the reason we've got these streams so late in the evening is so that we can do as much ibadah kind of before the stream, all of us, and then kind of finishing by 12, half 12. So those who choose to stay up till Suhoor have got a good few hours there as well. So hopefully you've chosen a good time. Okay, well, in that case, if we're keeping it short, let's not waste any time. Oh, I'm seeing the comments, but I'm going to try my best to stay away from the comments. But I just want to engage with you guys already. Okay, cool. Let's go into the kind of monologue of today. And like I said, in every stream, I think it makes sense before we spin the wheel and we speak about efficiency and habits generally for the day-to-day person. We should speak about a topic that perhaps I've been reflecting on, and that one today is about relationships. Now, something that I have found very beneficial in my life, and I've tried my best to practice, and I try continuing to practice and to learn more about, is being sensitive. And I think it's something that we can all learn, especially with our family members, because they're probably who we interact with the most or most frequently, is being sensitive to people's different characteristics. And I think that in the topic as a whole is something that may sound cliche, but if we really think about it, it's something that will benefit all of us. And it goes like this. The way I try and practice it is understanding as much as I can about the people around me, whether that's family members, whether that's close friends or colleagues. And when I can understand a lot about them, you understand what their thresholds are, what makes them angry, what makes them happy, and what things you should be more sensitive towards. And for us to play towards them, right? To play towards them. So what we often do is, because we're all kind of, in our psychology, naturally we think about ourselves first, me included, we try and, instead of adapting to somebody else, we try and say, well, why can't that person adapt to me, right? So if, for example, that person is more sensitive to me not replying to their text, why can't they just understand that I'm busy, right? Whereas I think that life becomes so much easier when we adapt to them. And we say, okay, that person seems to get upset if I don't reply straight away to their texts. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. I'm going to try my very best to be more sensitive to that for that person, as opposed to, I don't really need to do it for this other person, because they don't really get as stressed and they kind of are a bit more understanding. So I'm going to try and be more sensitive to it. What that does is it makes your life a lot easier. It makes people, I think it makes people enjoy your company more, because they understand that you're sensitive to them. And also you come to the realization that everybody has thresholds, everybody has weaknesses, and everybody has strengths, just like yourself. So me, for example, I have many weaknesses. And so I would like it, for example, if somebody, perhaps I like it if somebody acknowledges something that I've done, right? Let's say, for example, I've decided to go the extra mile and I'm trying to think of an example now. Go the extra mile and I'm trying to think of something that's not too personal. Drop something off on my way home. You know, drop something off to my mum's house because I know that will make her kind of feel better, right? And perhaps I'm the type of person who likes that acknowledged. Oh, thanks for doing that. You know, whereas other people might not mind. They're not doing it for the acknowledgement, right? But if my mum understands that that's the type of person that I am, if that is the type of person that I am, to send me a message rather than saying, well, he shouldn't be doing it for the thanks. Does that make sense? So being sensitive to people's different characteristic traits, I think that will really help all of us in our relationships, and will help us to be less selfish. Because, like I say, I think naturally we do tend to have this opinion that, why is that person sensitive to that? Because I'm not sensitive to that. They should understand. They shouldn't be that sensitive to this or that or this or that. But understanding that different people are sensitive to different things, and it not being a bad thing, and it's what makes us all amazing, makes us all beautiful, that we have different traits. Being sensitive to them and then playing to that, I think, is really important. So playing to different people's personalities. Does that make sense? How is that? How is that for a monologue? I don't know if that was clear. It was a lot clearer in my head, and I didn't script it, and I thought, oh, I'm going to speak about this because it's something that I try and practice. But I think it came across a lot worse when I tried mentioning it just now. But yeah, playing to people's personalities. I think that once you start playing to people's personalities and not thinking negatively of people, the advantages just flourish in. They flourish in. And the perfect example really and truly is the text example, because it's a small example, but one that we can all relate to. We all know someone in our life who gets upset with us if we don't reply to their text quite quickly, right? Whereas we know someone else in our life, like for example my brother Omar, who, if I don't reply to his text at all, he never gets offended. But rather than saying that, why isn't everybody like Omar with me, I should say, do you know what, this person just texted me, let me reply to them quicker, because it means a lot to them for me to do that, and I think our relationships will get better. Cool, let's move on and spin the wheel, because I've dragged that out. And now we only have, oh, we've done 10 minutes already. Bismillah. Right, we have about 20 minutes left. Guys, I'm keeping an eye on the comments. Please make sure you say hi. I'm trying to keep an eye on who is here from yesterday. Here we go. Riaz, I recognise you from yesterday. Assalamu alaikum, how are you? Alhamdulillah, I'm doing very, very well. It's the last 10 nights. This is day 2 of the stream. I think it's going well. And my goal is to be clearer with my speech. Right, let's spin the... Oh, we've got some changes. So you guys remember, yesterday, couldn't find the pen, found the pen. So we're gonna make some changes to the wheel. First of all, I think with podcast, the P was, there we go, broken, and O. And again, as a reminder, if you're new here, if you have a question that you want answered, or you want to put something to the community, write in capital letters the word question and then your question. And if it's about a particular topic, write in capital letters the topic name and then the question about the topic. And then once we hit that topic, it just makes it easier for me to kind of scroll through. Cool. The change we're going to make is we're going to change, here we go, review, which we said yesterday that was going to be a tough one, because the ideal review was kind of, I'll review kind of your YouTube channels or a public speaking video or something, but I think that's going to be hard on live stream. And the brother Optimise Muslim yesterday gave the suggestion that we go with a financial reflection. The financial reflection. And I think that's a good one. So let's just say finance. Cool. And let's spin the wheel. And I'm hoping it doesn't land on story, because I don't have a story ready, and I probably don't have a random fact ready. In fact, there's a lot of things that I don't have ready for this stream. So I'm very much so hoping that you guys have your questions ready for any of these topics, and also that you guys have general questions in case. There we are. I'm recognizing a lot more people from yesterday's stream. Alhamdulillah, we have some people coming back. All right, let's spin the first wheel for today. Alhamdulillah. Would you look at that? Finance. And we just created finance, the finance reflection. Right, fine. So, with regards to finance, and there he is. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Optimise Muslim project. You gave the suggestion yesterday of adding a finance part of the wheel, and look, we've landed on it. So a big cheer for you, but we don't have the cheer sound effect, so we'll do a big laugh for you. It makes no sense, I know, but that's the only sound effect we're working with right now. I need to download some more sound effects. Finance, right, here's a finance reflection. So I by no means am a finance guru. By no means do I have my finances like completely organized, like where I can start giving advice. However, I can reflect on something that's changed or helped me with finances. And I think the first thing, and this is the first time we've landed on finance, and so the very first thing I should mention is the thing that's changed my life the most with finances, and that is having a spreadsheet. Now, that sounds crazy because I am not, anyone who knows me knows I'm not a spreadsheet person. But if you do not have a spreadsheet for your finances, or at the very least, like a more updated version, which would be like Monzo or something like that. I spoke yesterday about having tech for convenience, and I'm going back to spreadsheets, but I find that my spreadsheet formula works quite well. So I'm going to tell you guys what my spreadsheet looks like, and hopefully you guys can implement it if you think that will be useful to you. My spreadsheet looks like this. The first column has a list of, it's called regular expenses, and it has a list of all of my regular expenses every single month. And so we're talking gym membership, any other memberships that I have, direct debits that I have. It's pretty much all of my direct debits, but then also stuff like my food shopping. So in this house, we have a small flat and a very small family, alhamdulillah. And so our food shopping can cost, it can even cost around, I was going to say £30 a week, but since we've had Zachariah, that's not true at all. So let's say about £50 to £60 a week, which is not bad considering we have a child. And so I'd put that budget in there, and anything else, anything that I can predict that would happen this month, that is a regular occurrence, goes into the regular expenses. So it's not just direct debits. And so in row A, it's a list of the names of all of the items: gym membership, food shopping, DVLA, whatever. The next row has the price written down. And then the row after that has my regular income, right? And so let's say, for argument's sake, a person makes £1,000 a month, right? A person makes £1,000, they would enter £1,000 into that column, and the spreadsheet at the bottom will tell me what any income that I've got coming in minus my regular expenses, how much money I've got left of disposable income, right? So that's like the basics of that spreadsheet. What else I have on that spreadsheet is another column that says budgets. And so while I can for example put my direct debits at the first of the month so that they kind of organise and come out straight away, there's other things that you can't. So for example, the food shopping and stuff like that. So what I do is I put those on the spreadsheet into little buckets of budgets. So if I want to look at my bank account, it will be a mess. Whereas if I look at the spreadsheet, I can see, okay, what do I have assigned this month to our food shopping? And I go, okay, we've got £90 left for our food shopping this month. Okay, we overspent, we underspent. And the fun thing about that is if you underspend, which we tend to do because I'd rather over budget, if I underspend, then at the end of the month I might have 20 quid, 30 quid in that bucket that I can either carry on to the next month or I can transfer back into my disposable income bucket, and it just helps me manage my finances. So that's my spreadsheet. So let's have a look at your guys' questions on that before we move forward. Mo says the camera quality, Jazakallah khair Mo. Nadeem says, with regards to finance, I love budgeting. I think I was against budgeting in the past, but I think getting married, having a child and stuff like that really makes you have to be organised with your finances. I used to be very, very lackluster with them. Amir is a finance manager. So Amir, I'm going to give you a task because this is a community stream. I want to give you the task of giving us one piece of advice that you think will benefit us all on this stream today, and we're going to read your advice out. I'm going to come back to it, so please do write in capitals finance advice and then your advice so I can scroll up and find it later. But inshallah, if you agree, then Amir is going to give us a big finance advice because he's a finance manager. What did I say he was? He was a finance manager, yes. So hopefully Amir can give us some advice on finance because I really could do with it. Right. Riz says, finance did always have an emergency fund. I think that's a hugely important thing, and that was kind of the first thing I learned in finance when I started the book Total Money Makeover. I actually watched the analysis of the book Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. It's something I'd really recommend to anybody and everybody, and like his number one rule is have an emergency fund. So there we go. All right, that was quite productive. I like that. That was a good chat, man. Either, great. So Either, for those of you who weren't here yesterday, is we go onto this website, either.io, and we see, we kind of load an would you rather question, and we wait for an appropriate one to turn up, and we will discuss it together as a community, and hopefully we can talk about it with regards to, we can see what the general public thinks as well. So here we go. Oh, that's an awful one. It's about being stabbed. So let's find one that I think that'll be nice for us to discuss. Okay, so I'm not into like Star Wars, I think it is. So the question is like be a Jedi or be a Sith, and I have no idea what any of them are. Oh wow, some of these are horrible. That's such a horrible and mean would you rather. Okay, here we go. Actually, no, we're not going to go this one because it's food related, and we did a food related one yesterday. This is proving a bit more difficult. Than yesterday. Yesterday we found an appropriate one, and one kind of to do with efficiency very quickly. This one's about Christmas and birthdays, so we'll ignore that one. Accents. Wow, this is normally a very, very easy thing to do. Look at this one. Would you rather be a Muslim or be a Jew? Let's just see what people... Wow. 69% of people would rather be a Jew and 31% would rather be Muslim. That's a big difference. That's a very big difference. I think maybe we should take this this option off of the board because there doesn't seem to be very appropriate ones for us, to be honest. So if you guys have any suggestions, here we go, we finally found one. All right, if you guys have any suggestions of what we can replace that with, I'll be open to suggestions. Okay, Ahmed has given us some finance advice, so we'll go to that after. Here we go, guys. I need your guys' opinions on this. Would you rather have to sleep 3 hours every day, or have to sleep 15 hours every day? Oh, that's a nice easy one. 3 hours or 15 hours. Okay. Okay, I know what I would do. Oh, that's frustrating, to be honest. And I think my answer might surprise you guys. Let's see what you guys say. Would you guys rather sleep 3 hours a day or 5 hours a day, and nothing else? 3 hours or 15 hours, and nothing else changes. So, and this is a really good one for our kind of discussion on productivity and efficiency. So nothing else changes, and the reason that's important is because it's not that you sleep 3 hours but you feel great. You sleep 3 hours but you feel how you would feel after 3 hours, and you sleep 15 hours but you feel how you would feel after 15 hours, and you would generally have that much time left. So let's see what people say. Okay, I think most of you guys are saying 3 hours. Okay, we got 15 hours. Sham says 3, Riaz says 3, Charmaine says 3. Okay. Right. Okay, cool. The majority here says 3 hours. Okay, I'm going to give you guys my opinion. And I think, being that this is a productivity and efficiency podcast stream, that you guys would assume that I would say 3 hours. But I'm going to say 15 hours. And I'm going to say 15 hours because sleep is very, very important for productivity. And while 15 hours is too much, I think once you go past the 5 hour mark, if you're getting less than 5 hours sleep a night, I think that you're going to really slack with productivity. So I'm thinking, if I sleep 3 hours every day, yes, I've got a lot more time to be productive, but productivity is going to reduce so much because I'm going to be so tired. And if nothing else changes, I'm going to be shattered every day. Whereas with 15 hours, I've got less time, but while I might be over rested, I think that I can really try and make the use of that time as opposed to sleeping 3 hours. So I'm going to say 15. And that doesn't mean that I want to sleep 15, because I think the ideal time for me is about 7, but it's better than 3. So I'm going to say 15. You guys said 3 for the most part, and most people said 3, but it's 51%, 51-49 split. So it really wasn't that tight, to be honest. Nafisa says she'd get a headache if she slept long. So would I. I really hate sleeping that long, but to be honest, yes, less means less lifespan. That's very true. If you sleep 3 hours a night, that's gonna really damage your lifespan. Generally, it will. All right, let's spin the wheel. How are we doing on the stream? We're 23 minutes in. I don't know if we're gonna do just 30 minutes today. I'll be honest. Maybe we can stretch to 40. All right, bismillah. Oh, we got Amir's finance advice as well that we're waiting for. Question, great, we got a few questions, so let's go for one of them. Again, if you have a question, question in bold and then your question. Let's have a look. So I'm only scanning the feed for if someone's written questioning capitals and then ask a question. Okay, here we go. Someone said, did you get the productivity inspiration from Ali Abdal? Okay, so the short answer is no. I heard of Ali Abdal very recently on my pod. Someone messaged us on our podcast a few months ago, or commented saying, you have to get Ali Abdal on the podcast. He is really big on kind of stoicism and productivity, and I think this listener, Freshly Grounded, knew that I'm very passionate about stoicism, and I mean, we have to take it lightly, but about stoicism and productivity, and it'll be a great discussion. And so we did get in touch. I got in touch with him, and he didn't reply. But I saw some of his videos, and he seems very, very inspired. He seems like a very inspired, a very like high achiever, and someone who'd be amazing to have a conversation with across the table and freshly grounded. I imagine he's very busy right now because he's a doctor, especially with the COVID-19. But no, I'm aware of his kind of journey of trying to seek ultimate productivity as well. So I really do rate that. Riaz says, I've been watching the Freshly Grounded podcasts now. Who has been your favourite guest or guest? I think, we always joke that Adam Afghan is my favourite guest, and to an extent he's my favourite guest because we just have a laugh. But I don't think that anyone could top Tim Humble, because I learn so much when he's on the podcast. So I'll probably say Tim Humble. And I've had the honour of having him for a few times now. Let's go for one more question. There's a good few here. Okay, let's say this question, then we'll do the finance advice by Amir, because Amir is a finance manager and we asked him to give finance advice to us and he has. Okay, question is, how do you get good friends with others who are on the right path? Again, I can only speak from my experience, and my experience has been that if you're around the right circles, you are going to end up with great friends. If you're spending all of your time at home, outside of lockdown, at home, you're not really going to meet anyone. If you're spending all your time in places where you shouldn't be, you're going to meet those types of people. If you're spending all of your time in places of goodness, you're going to meet people of goodness. And that's a short answer, but I think, to be honest, it's one that is the obvious one and the best answer, to be honest. All right, cool. Alright, Amir's finance advice, here we go. When you receive salary from business or employer, transfer a portion of income to another account for savings and try not to use any money in the spare account until it's needed. Jazakallahu khair, Amir. That was finance advice from a finance manager. I think a very, very important advice, and something I implement. And was one of the first things I started implementing after I listened to Total Money Makeover. And if you're not doing it, I think it's a great advice from Amir. Thank you very much. Perfect. Cool. Amir's given many advices. Alright, let's quickly go through them then. But we've got to be quick. Oh, here we go. Advice number 2. Think of unnecessary expenditure that you don't need and reduce it from your outgoings. Perfect. Number 3, try prioritizing paying debts off as early as possible. Wow, Ahmed, I feel like I'm speaking to myself. I love all of this advice. And number 4, focus on small investments that generate reasonable returns in the beginning, then start to enhance greater risks later in the career. I haven't even got to the stage where I can think about investments, so thanks, Ahmed, for that. Here we go. All right, let's spin the wheel. It's been fun today. I've enjoyed it. Parenting. Okay, a parenting reflection or a parenting question. If you have a parenting question, write parenting in block capitals and the question. While I wait for your guys' questions, I'll let you know that you can support this stream and this channel by clicking the little join button that you'll see here. Down here you'll see a join button, and it's £1.99 a month, and you get an extra Q&A every month with myself, and also you're able to support the stream. And I think after yesterday we had one person, alhamdulillah. So currently there is one person supporting the stream, and I say massive jazakallah khairan to that sister, I believe. And if you want to join, all you have to do is click join. We had all these options that we could set, and for Freshly Grounded we have like a £5 a month option to support Freshly Grounded, but I kept this at £1.99. I probably should have gone even lower, but I thought it was a nice, reasonable thing that's manageable, that we can kind of hopefully build this community together in the support of this stream and this channel, and hopefully we can start doing this live stream with red cameras soon, which is like the HD film cameras. Okay, here we go, parenting questions. Okay, there's quite a good. I'm going to answer a few parenting questions because I like a few of these. Pablo says, how was your parents' reaction when you first told them that you're having a baby? So I mentioned on one of the episodes of our podcast that we first found out we were having a baby, and then we parents were over the moon, alhamdulillah. I think tears, yeah, on both ends. Tears on both ends. Both sets of parents. So alhamdulillah, very, very, very happy. Obviously, very, very happy. So I mentioned in the episode of Freshly Grounded that with the first pregnancy, we had experienced a miscarriage, and I put the story of that on Freshly Grounded. If anybody knows what episode number that is, please do mention it in the chat, and then I'll bring it up on the screen for those people who haven't read that or listened to that story. But in the second pregnancy, the reaction was also great, and we were all a lot more cautious because of what happened the first time. Bismillah. Oh, that's a good question. How do you feel about others disciplining your child? So that hasn't happened yet because Zachary is 6 months. So we haven't gone through it yet. I have had times where I've disciplined my nephews, and I felt a bit awkward doing it, but I've done it in front of my sister. And I think that it's okay with caution and who you are and what your relationship is. If my brothers or sisters discipline my child, I would be quite okay with it because I know them and I know they're not unreasonable people. I know they're great with their own children. I know that they have limits of what they do and don't say, and how they react to things. And so I would trust that they're doing the right thing. So I feel, but if it's someone outside of my siblings, we're talking. You're very protective of your children. Anyone here who's a parent knows that you're extremely protective of your children. So it's a tough one. Okay, we've done 32 minutes. We're going to go to a 40, I think. That's nice. Okay, the meme lover said that episode 132 is when I talk about the pregnancy and the miscarriage. I'm not quite sure, but I trust you, and so if you want to check that out, check that out. Okay, just one last question on parenting. Let's go with this one. The CEO of Google, alhamdulillah. Will you ever cry in front of a child? Of course. Of course. Sorry, I was just reading all the other ones. What was the question? Because I started reading all you guys' comments. They're coming in so thick and fast. Where are we at? It said, will you ever cry in front of your child? Yes, of course. I mean, technically I've cried in front of him already. When he was first born, I literally cried in front of him at some point. Or maybe he was asleep, I can't remember. But yeah, I mean, people go through all kinds of emotions. I'm not really scared of showing any emotion in front of my family, whether that's fear, sadness, anxiety. I've pretty much shared those with kind of my immediate family. I think it's important to be able to, if you're the type of person who needs to be able to share those feelings. I think it's also okay not to, if you're that kind of person who deals with things alone. Yeah, bismillah. Should we do the last spin, or should we say 2 more spins? Let's have a look at the time. We've done 34 minutes. We'll say 1 or 2 more spins because we're going through questions as well. So. Okay, productivity. That's a good one. Right. In terms of productivity, I'm going to make this one quick. I'm going to say, it's too cliche actually. It's too cliche. Yesterday we said that we got from Ramit Sethi's book that paying for convenience can be a good thing, and I think that was something that we all kind of agreed on with caution. See, the obvious one I want to say is waking up early. I know it's cliche and everyone says it, but it's something that I love doing, and I can sing and dance about it all day long. But I'm going to try and think of something that is probably of more value with regards to productivity. So I'm going to say with productivity, I think always maximizing your time is very important, and I think all of us do this anyway, but I often like to, while I'm cooking, while I'm cleaning, while I'm driving, I always like to listen to something of benefit, because those kind of tasks are very menial and they're the kind of tasks where you can do them without thinking too much. And so if I can listen to something like a podcast of benefit, or a stream, or an Islamic lecture, I'm able to kill two birds with one stone. I think all of us do that anyway, but I think it's important to know that anytime you have those kind of times, utilize those times to do those, because that also helps with you. Sometimes you think, I don't have time to start a whole series, right, like an Islamic series, but maybe if you just do it in those pockets, the amount of series that you could get through. I remember when I was going to the gym, passionately, my gym drives would be about an hour and a half in total, about 45 minutes there, 45 minutes back, and I managed to get through a really heavy lecture series that I think has shaped me as a Muslim today. And had I not been doing that during those 1 hour drives, and this lecture was 1 hour and there was like 50 of them, it was an entire series, I wouldn't be who I am today, alhamdulillah. And so imagine if I just decided to listen to something that wasn't beneficial during those drives. I don't think I'd be where I am. Okay, question or spin? Let's see. Let's quickly have a look at the questions. Okay, let's spin the wheel. Okay, the last spin, guys, of today, and we'll call it a day. I think it's a good time to call it a day. Parenting. Should we spin it again because we just did parenting? I think we can break the rules. Why not? This other thing I want to say, guys, is we are supporting a charity this month, the Spot Project, which you can go to spotproject.org. You can see on the screen now, /Freshly Grounded. We're so close to our target of £10,000. And also in the bio, you should be able to see a sponsor and orphan link. And that's something that I think nobody has donated to yet, because we haven't really pushed it. But we're supporting Human Appeal in the orphan sponsorship. And I think let's make a dent in that. If we all decide, look, in the last 10 nights, we're going to make a dent in that link. Let's see, even if it's a £5, let's all, we're a community together. Let's do that. Inshallah. I mean, obviously, I can't control, what we do. I'm not dictating it, but, I think that's a good initiative to push. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're gonna spin it again because parenting is we've just done it. Either. Do we want to do either? Because I was so hard. Alright, fine. I'll try it. It's a nice, light-hearted thing to end on, and then we'll do some questions and we'll finish up. So let's see. Alright, guys, I hope you're ready. I need your guys' comments on this and what your guys' opinions are. Right, let's go. See, we're gonna have to think of something together, guys, that is just a bit better than the either tab, because I was thinking to maybe do about morals or ethics, because these are just awful, man. Yeah, these are just so inappropriate. Just so inappropriate. Every single one. Gosh. We're going to have to change this tab, because we're going to be sitting here every time just trying to find one that is appropriate, which will eventually come. Or just unrealistic. Like this one says, have a baby dragon, or be a cat, or be a dog. They're just absolutely... It's just absolutely appalling. Oh my gosh. We're gonna have to change that. We're gonna have to change it, but I'll become stubborn now. I'm becoming stubborn. Everyone's saying just spin it. I really want to be stubborn and find. Do you know what? I'm gonna spin it because they're just too inappropriate or they're rubbish. So let's go for another spin. Alright guys, I need your suggestions. What can we change this tab to? Let's rub it out. And I want you to write in the comments in capitals tab, T-A-B, because I'm just going to call these tabs for now, and then your suggestion, and then hopefully I'll get to look through them, and by tomorrow we can have a new one up, because that is just appalling. Alright, here we go. Last spin of the day, and I'm going to call it a day. Here we go. Ah, story. Okay, cool. I didn't think of that. I haven't thought of a story, but I'll definitely have something inshallah. So, well, I'm just going to look for you guys' questions as well at the same time. SH says, please give me a shout. There we go. There's the equivalent of a shout. Okay, story. I'm going to end on a nice story, guys. Because look, we're 40 minutes in and I said I need to be able to cap it. Okay, the story is this. Let's have a think. Scanning my life, trying to remember a decent story. I probably wrote these down because I wrote down some stories here. Gosh, this is bad live stream etiquette, isn't it? I should write down these things in advance, which I did do yesterday. I gave the decision-making story yesterday about the Nando's, so that's annoying. Okay, I'm going to give a reflection. Which is kind of like a story. Here we go. No, that's a rubbish one. Wow, I'm being so awful, guys. I'm so sorry. You know what? For the sake of me not having a story in advance, what I'm gonna do is from tomorrow, I'm gonna actually write down. Hopefully, I'm gonna write down some tabs. If it lands a story, then I have them ready. I have one story. Actually, do you know what? We land on a story. I'm gonna give it. Okay, so my story is this: when I was in primary school, I was selected to be in the play, the school play, and I was given the role in Robin Hood of one of Robin Hood's friends, right? And we all had to sing in this school play. And what happened is there was 4 of us on the stage, and I was one of the main characters. And the person, all 4 of us, one person would step forward. And so, like, we'd all sing the chorus, and then the person would step forward and then sing their bit, and then they'd go back, and then the next person would sing their bit, like they'd have a verse each. And so everybody did that, and then I was the 4th person. And when it came to me, in the rehearsals, they were like, okay, Faisal, and then I did my bit. And I was so bad at singing that the teacher was like, okay, for Faisal's bit, we're all going to sing. And so everybody did their individual bits, and then for my bit, we all sang together because I was that bad. That's a good story because that just shows how bad my singing voice is. Alright, guys, Jazakallah khair for watching today's stream. Let's have a look at some tab suggestions, see if we can change one now. Oh wow, so many suggestions. Someone said, call it insight. That's actually the tab that I have, which is a Ramadan reflection, which is somewhere, so like something that I reflected on today, so insight that I reflected on today. Someone said goals. That's a good one, General knowledge. Perhaps, Sahwa said charity, Ahmed said Islamic reminder, about me, that's kind of what the story is meant to be, recommendation. Okay, I'm going to keep reading these, and then we'll come up with something. Health tip or routine. Okay, I'm going to keep reading these, we'll come up with something, because because we need to think about it. All right, guys. Sorry for like the delay of like trying to kind of get myself together with the story and stuff. I promise I'll try and be a bit more organized tomorrow. Thank you so much. Enjoy you guys Ramadan. Enjoy the last 10 nights. I'll be back tomorrow, inshallah, for another hopefully short one. Let's try and cap it at 30 or 40. I know I'm so bad at capping them. It's been absolutely amazing, and I've had a great time. Assalamu alaikum. Please do check the links in the bio for the charity donations. And if you want to support the stream and the channel, you can click join down here, and it would mean the world. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum and peace.